What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Trout Wrangler Podcast. It is 12:53 on Friday, November 15th. As you can see here, we got a guest with us today. Um, this is Caleb York. He's kind of like a renaissance man when it comes to fishing in the mountains here in North Carolina, up in the mountains on Norman. Where else you fish out around here?
I fish everywhere, but I would say like the main places that I'm on are Watery in South Carolina in the winter. I guide striper down there. I'm on Norman pretty much year round. I live on Norman, so
Okay.
I'm 2 minutes from the boat ramp right here. Can see the lake pretty much from my house when in the fall when the leaves are gone. And so I'm on Norman a lot. We shoot a lot of our content stuff like that on Norman because it's convenient. But I fish Lake James for smallmouth. And then, I go to places like Baden and stuff like that to try and get my largemouth fix
Oh yeah.
as well. So, but then trout fishing, we're everywhere that is popular, the Watauga, the South
Right.
Holston, and then smallmouth fishing the New River. So, like you said, I mean, it's kind of all over the place. It kind of depends on the species that we're chasing, depending on where we go. So, James smallmouth, Norman spotted bass, Baden largemouth, watery striper. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So,
Dude,
um,
Baden's crazy. I think I'm actually going up there tonight. Um, my girlfriend's mom has a place there, and we're going to a wedding in Wallace tomorrow.
oh,
So it's
okay,
like a good halfway point. We got to drop the dog off with her mom. She's
yeah.
watching them.
Baden
But
should be firing off right now. Once
dude,
that grass kind of dies out a little bit, but there's still like some splotchiness of it. There's some fun fishing to go on right there.
oh yeah, Baden's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it is. It's such a hit or miss though. I
So's
have some of
Tillamook.
my worst days there as well. Like where you go
Oh yeah,
out and
dude.
all of
That's
them are just
that's how
slow and
that
moseyed.
that's how that entire chain is, dude. It's like High Rock, same way.
Right. Yeah,
Tillery,
you can catch
same
20
way.
plus pounds or 6 pounds.
Exactly. It's unbelievable. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, I can't stand High Rock Lake. I've fished probably the most tournaments I've fished are probably on High Rock, and I hate it. I've done good in like maybe two of them,
It's
and
just
both
such a
those.
weird shallow lake. It's
It
just
is.
it doesn't run. I don't fish high rock a ton, and this is the reason is I'm really good at breaking down the lakes that are similar to each other, for
Yeah.
obvious reasons. So, um, Baden has a little bit more of that, army riveriness to where it's not just like, a shallow bowl. Like, there's a lot of different structure and stuff you can chase on Baden.
Exactly. But we got connected through one of the best dudes out there, man.
Yeah,
Old
definitely.
old Manning, dude. I've known him for a while.
Yeah, me too. Actually, it's funny. You worked with him at Cabela's, correct?
Yeah, I worked with him at Cabela's.
Yeah, that's funny. So I knew Manning when he worked. I'm guessing with you at Cabela's because I would come in and we would just sit there and he wouldn't do a lick of work for about an hour. Me and him would just sit there and talk bass fishing and fly. And then once I got into fly fishing, I was asking him. There was nobody in the fly section, like always at Cabela's.
Yeah, dude, and
And
Bass Pro.
yeah, exactly. There's nobody in the fly section. So Manning would come over and help me with the flies and stuff like that
Yeah,
when I was first getting into it. So we met there, and then I ended up working with him at Orvis too for
right.
a few years after the fact. But like you said, he's taught me so much about the game. I mean, he's really the one who made me realize that this ain't all just butterflies and rainbows
Oh
and
yeah,
fish catching some fish and hee ha ha. Let's take it. No, it ain't that, buddy.
yeah, dude. I was over there, dude. This had to have been now. It's beginning of October. I walked in there, and I haven't been in the new store yet over there at Strawberry Hill,
Yep.
and I was going to Morgan Wallen on Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't expect it to be, it was Friday night actually. I was going, I didn't expect it to be freezing cold. And I was like, I'm probably just going to go over there to the Orvis store, see if I could grab like a jacket or anything. And I would walk in there. I'm like, I look at one jacket. It's like, oh yeah, here you go, $200. I'm like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I ended
It's
up
a
going. I'm like, man, can you? I need something to keep me warm that isn't gonna literally break the bank
yeah.
in two pieces and just throw it in the trash. I ended up just buying a hoodie, and I sat there and I was talking to Manning for like 2 hours, just
Mm-hmm.
sitting there. And some guy came up, dude. This was kind of funny. Some guy came up. He's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "I fish Sugar Creek all the time. You know, the one that runs through Uptown right there."
Right. Oh yeah.
And I heard him like from afar, and he goes, "I caught a smallmouth in there the other day." And I kind of looked over at Manning, and he kind of looked over at me, and I was like, smallmouth in Sugar Creek, huh? He's like, yeah, man, sure enough. He leaves, and Manning's like, yeah, that was a rock bass.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Little
but
panfish rock bass.
exactly, dude. I was like, oh my gosh. It's like it's a little far south for a smallmouth to be running.
Yeah, for sure. I get people all the time trying to tell me they're catching smallmouth in Lake Norman and stuff too. And like I know that it's happened. It like it's not and it's a thing that has happened before on record. But for someone who guides there 100 days a year, I've never seen a smallmouth there.
Yeah.
And it's like so you come to Norman all of a sudden from a largemouth fishery and you're trying to tell me that you're not calling a spot a smallmouth?
Yeah, or a warmouth.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I will say it's weird. You see it more on like once a year during the winter trail on Lake Wiley. There's at least one smallmouth weighed in every year.
Yeah,
It's the
it is weird.
craziest thing. And it's just that it's one time a year during the winter trail. There's always one weighed in.
There's some smallmouth that and like if I really got into that whole thing, I mean, I think they're all hybrid. They're not actually
Yeah,
smallmouth. They've
I
just
agree.
gained the genes. They have smallmouth in them for sure, and but they've gained the dominant genes of a smallmouth, so they look like a smallmouth, but they're actually like half spotted bass or half largemouth as well.
I agree, dude. It's nuts is when you see it. You see every year a guy like you. Are you in any of those Facebook pages other than like Carolina Elite Series, like
Yeah,
NC
uh-huh.
Fishing? The
Yeah,
guy's like, yeah, dude, caught a 4 pound smallmouth on Lake Norman today. It's like, dude, that's a warmouth, and it's maybe a pound and a half.
right. Yeah, it's just a
He's
little
got it
briny
held out
spot.
like right here.
Right. Yeah, that's
But
funny.
you guide on Norman. I have my opinion on Norman, but what is your honest opinion about Norman?
My honest opinion about Norman is that there's a ton of fish.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
there is plenty of fish to be caught. It's a great place to learn a spotted bass fishery. It's a great place to learn a herring threadfin fishery. You know, most people are either in shiner bluegill fisheries, which are going to be more of your landlocked stuff, like ponds or river systems, things like
right.
that. And then, or gizzard shad, your big largemouth chasers just think trout or gizzard shad. Norman is neither of those. It's a threadfin herring fishery, so you're really fishing open water schooling fish a lot.
Oh yeah,
Um, so you can catch a ton of fish at Norman. So guiding on Norman, it's a great thing for me because I do two things in my guiding, and it took me a while to learn this, but you're there to teach and you're there to give people reps, right?
right,
So the them catching a 10-pound largemouth or whatever, like that's just so unrealistic. They're not gonna hook that fish, they're not gonna land that fish. Chasing that fish is, for you at that point, you know what I'm
right,
saying? So I'm there to teach people techniques that they can go back and catch fish again, you know what I'm saying, by
right,
themselves or, teach their son or, whatever. So I'm there to create a ground base for them to build a house on. And
right,
Norman is a great place for me to do that because they're going to get a lot of reps. They're going to see fish react to their baits, things like that. But as far as like like a fisherman myself, it's obviously overrun with smaller spots.
right.
Um,
I'll tell
it's
you though, those spots I've seen are starting to get a lot bigger.
Yeah,
A
they
lot of them
are.
are
Yeah,
starting to get a ton bigger.
yeah. I've probably caught 10 or 15 4+ pound spots in the
I was
past
gonna
month.
say, I saw a
Um,
video you catching one that was 4. I was like, golly, that's a freaking tank for Norman.
And I mean, that's why I'm throwing those glide baits and stuff.
Yeah.
It really targets those big fish, and it shows you where they're at. So like, even if they don't commit to it, they'll come check it out, and you can register in your brain like, okay,
Yeah, there's a
there's a couple
3-pounder on
big
that dock.
spots right here on this
Yeah.
dock. You know what I'm saying? You go back there and throw a jig or whatever, but now you know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I like the fact to basically wrap up the how I feel about Lake Norman. I like Lake Norman, contrary to a lot of other people, because the time that I put in there really allows me to separate myself from the average angler.
Right.
The person who's catching 10 pounds a day, I mean this might sound cocky, but we can go out there and catch 12 to 15 on a bad day. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so, um, you know, I love that about Norman. You know,
Right.
these
Yeah.
big largemouth fisheries and stuff like that, where everybody's fishing these giant grass flats and stuff. Like the person dragging a Carolina rig every single Saturday is gonna eventually win. You
Right.
get what I'm saying?
I
Whereas
completely
on
understand.
Norman,
Yeah.
that's not
That's not
happening.
going to
Like,
happen.
yeah,
It's more
no,
like you're dragging a dang Nico rig or a drop
yeah,
shot around. You're
exactly,
gonna drag it in front of a couple biggins' faces, you know.
right,
I've
exactly.
seen, dude, Norman. I like what you said about the blueback herring. A lot of people look at me like I have 5 heads. This had to have been during COVID, dude. I was furloughed from Bass Pro. They were paying me still, and you got cocky high school kids that are out there. They're like, "Yo, yeah, we want a 2v2 you guys." It's like me and one of my buddies I fished at
Right,
ECU with, and it's like we'll throw like $20 each in. I was like, dude, all right, sounds
right,
good, dude.
yeah, yeah,
Me and my buddy Austin go out there, and we're throwing. If you take a right out of Beatty's Ford, there's the dam right there.
oh
Then
yeah,
there's that big rock wall.
mm-hmm.
I snagged a blueback herring on a jerk bait out there. And I was like, no way. I thought people were like BSing when they were saying there's a bunch of bluebacks in here. There is, dude, and I've seen them get that whole cluster of them get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I got to the third round of interviews for the game warden thing this year, and I went in. You have to write an essay. I wrote an essay on the F1 largemouth stocking. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, dude, and like to sum it up, it was if we took that money that we put the F1s in Norman with and just threw it at, let's dump a bunch of blueback herring into Norman, and it
Right.
probably would have benefited a lot better. It probably would, like you were saying earlier, it's like you could go to another spot of bass fishery, learning what you learn on Lake Norman, and go out and catch them pretty good, like at a place like Lanier,
Yeah,
um,
absolutely. Or Hartwell or any.
Hartwell. You ever been to Chattooga?
I have not been to Chattooga, but I've heard a lot about it. And Joe Cassie is another one too that
Yep.
has some big spotted bass in it.
Dude, I worked up there at Mountaintop Golf and Lake Club and Cashiers, and I took a Saturday to go over to Chattooga, and I'm buddies with Jake Whitaker, who
Mm-hmm.
fished at UNCC, who's on. I think he's still on the elites, and he was like, "Dude, you got to go over there to Chattooga and throw one of those big pencil poppers." And I went in. I went into. You probably know him, big bait guy, Austin Neary
Dream
up there,
catchers.
Dream Catchers.
Yeah.
I went in there, and he's like, "Here, take this." It was one of those big evergreen pencil poppers. You throw that over like big cane piles and brush, it'll come
Is it
out
the
of
shower
freaking.
blows?
Yeah,
Yeah, the shower
dude,
blows gets
that thing
crushed,
is
dog.
stupid. They'll come out of 30 feet of water to inhale that thing,
Yeah,
dude. And I'm
yes
sitting
they
there, I'm
will.
like, I've never seen anything like this. Never, dude. It's like
Yeah,
I'll
no,
sit
it's
there and throw a
awesome.
spook over a shoal at Norman, and you see it all the time. Boom, 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 boom.
Right.
But it's like, dude, to watch them come out of 30 feet of water and just blast it, you're like, oh my god. I watched it on Smith Mountain too. Same thing,
Yeah, oh yeah. The
dude. It's crazy.
spotted bass are a fish that when they're really locked into something, when they've seen a couple dead bait fish on the surface, even if they are on a brush pile in 30 foot of water, and they went up there and they connected with that, and it gave them a positive feedback, and they swallowed it, and they went back down to that brush pile. The next thing that skitters across the top of the water, they're going right back after
Right
it.
back at it, dude.
You know what
That's
I'm
why,
saying?
dude. That's why spot fishing is so fun.
It is
Everybody's
so
like,
fun.
dude. Everybody, dude. Like, I'll bring like, I brought my brother out there one time. He doesn't fish much, and I was like, hey, I was like, throw this fluke over at that dock. And he's like, dude, he's like, what's this? It's like a half-pound spot. I was like, did you feel how that thing
Oh
fought
yeah,
though?
they thought it. Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I was like, go and do it again. He catches like 2 or 3 more. He's like, dude, this is kind of fun. I was like, yeah, isn't it? Even though they're like a pound and a half.
Yeah,
But
definitely. It's fun to catch fish, dude. That's
oh yeah,
the moral of the story right there. It's just fun to catch fish.
oh yeah, fishing's fun.
Yeah.
Like 100%, dude. I see. I don't get to bass fish much anymore because I sold my skeeter. That was a sad day.
I bet.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's like the first time in like 10 years that I've like cried real tears, like real man tears. I'm like,
Yeah,
damn,
exactly.
my girlfriend looked over me. She's like, you crying? I was like, yeah. It's like I've had that boat for like 10 years.
Yeah,
It's like,
that's a sad day for
dude,
sure.
I was
I
like,
don't know if I could ever do that.
dude, I was like, as much shit as that boat's given me, I was like, me and that boat have probably seen an equal amount of shit in that
Right.
boat where it's like you're sitting there like death gripping the steering wheel and blowing 20 at the Harris chain in Florida.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, and it's like, thank God I got through that.
Right.
But
Yeah, definitely.
dude, so I don't get the bass fish because of that, and then dude, I got almost 95% of my gear stolen out of my truck.
Really?
Yeah, dude. So you know where the Harris Teeter is right there past if you're coming down 16 and you cross the bridge at Mountain Island?
Oh yeah.
And it's right there on the left. We
Yeah.
used to live in those apartments back there. I woke up to go to work one day. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I completely, dude, that my rods are gone.
What?
And yeah, dude, like JB custom rods, there were like 4 Fitzgeralds in there. Somebody opened up my door with like a screwdriver and stole all my shit. I was like,
Dude.
so you left the $400 Yeti cooler in the back of my truck, but stole all of my fishing shit. That dude's
Must have been a
probably
fishing
sitting out
dude.
there under their yeah, it's like he's got to be sitting down there under the bridge on Mountain Island right now. Like, damn, this is pretty nice fucking reel. It's like, damn, this dude's got
Everybody
some
who
nice
comes by
stuff.
him's like, when'd you get some money, dog?
Yeah, right. He's like, joke's on you. I stole this out of a dude's truck.
I
He
came
hasn't
up
even
big
tried to
last night,
fish.
boys.
Yeah, it's like, dude, it's like the equivalent of one of us hitting a massive sports gambling parlay.
Right.
He's like, man, my parlay hit. he's like 5 rods. He's like tallied up in about $2,000, $3,000. He's like,
crazy,
I hit
dude.
it big, bro.
That would have made me cry, grown man.
Oh, dude, I was pissed. I was so mad, dude. But it was like at that point there, like once I got out of college, I was like, all right, I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it like try and fish the opens for 2 arms and all my appendages.
Right, yeah.
And
no,
it's
I have never made that leap for that reason right there.
dude, if you don't have like a huge company with like unlimited funds backing you, it is so hard.
Yeah.
Dude,
Definitely.
like it's crazy. But dude, dude, like that, like I think we talked about it a couple weeks back, dude. The industry is so like it's insane right now, man. Like it's one of those things where it's like it's hard to want to be like, you know what? I want to get in fish the opens, call these companies and try and do something like that. But it's like what, $15,000 a tournament now, I think, for the
Right.
opens.
Yeah.
It's not worth it, and they're cutting all the payouts for the elites now and stuff like that. It's crazy.
Yeah,
But
the whole industry as far as tournament bass fishing at the high level, it's almost like you can be in the BFLs and work brand deals and YouTube content
oh yeah,
and literally do the same make the same money that the elites are
Oh
making.
yeah.
Because the tournament fishing is not where the money's at. The tournament fishing
Mm-mm.
is where you get known and where you get seen and you get that airtime, and
Right.
people are seeing your name on leaderboards constantly, so then it's pushing them directly to you. And the people who are catching that attention and running with it are making much more money than they could ever make winning tournaments every
Oh
week.
yeah.
You know?
Dude, like that little boy Larson Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, given that kid, his parents probably have a good amount of money, but that kid,
Yes.
his content is pretty dang good.
No, it is. Yeah, but like
Yeah.
that's the whole thing that we're talking about is like at the end of the day, we always say it around here, and I'm not talking specifically about Larson, but like the best way to become a really powerful guide or a really powerful influencer is this little tune that we used to sing when we played the Catholic schools in high school. We'd sing Daddy's Money.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You get what I'm
Dude,
saying?
I agree.
And
Oh
so
yeah, I
and so
agree.
to an extent, like it's great what they do, but like what it's hard for someone like me to not see people like that and
I
just be
agree.
somewhat jealous just
Yeah.
because, this boat behind me right here, my money. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? This boat right here, this whole garage, all those baits on the wall. That's all me, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
And
I
that's the
edit
same
my
thing.
YouTube videos. We plan our YouTube videos. We pay for our trips. We pay for the tournaments that we enter. Me and my wife just recently bought this house in March. Um, After 3 years of me running my business, and there was a time where our relationship was almost at a complete stutter because of the lack of success I was having, the lack of money that I was making in this industry. Do you get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
to look at people who just slide into their, racing 350 and crank up the motor
Yeah.
at 16
Dude.
years old, and they have
It's
a dude with a drone in the boat
Yeah,
following him and
right.
all
That's
types of
my
stuff.
thing. Is it's like, dude, who is paying that like don't get me wrong, this kid's a great fisherman, but the amount the amount of people that I see it all the time under his stuff. I drank a few too many beers one night, and did you ever see the picture of it was his weigh-in partner, it's like his tournament partner, shirtless at the weigh-in, like flexing. I'm like, dude, put a shirt on. Come on. But like, dude, I like what you're saying there though, is that like there are so many kids that like this is where it's going to get worse before it gets better in the fishing industries, because you have so many of these kids that are young and their parents are like, dang, here's a brand new bass cat, here's a brand new tundra, and
Right.
it's like, dude, like it, it's crazy. That's
I mean,
some of
it's
the
the same
stuff.
thing with all the kids on tour, like
Yeah,
all the father sons on tour. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like at
little
the end of the day,
Brit,
they're great fishermen, or they wouldn't be on tour, right?
right?
But it's pretty easy to just focus on fishing and become a really good fisherman when you have nothing to worry about except for
Exactly.
going fishing. Like you don't even have to shoot content of yourself. The money is there. Like you don't
Right.
have to worry about the money. And when you're not worrying about the money, it's really easy to get good at fishing. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Dude,
Like,
and it's crazy. It's like, a lot of these kids, they go to college. But it's like, dude, some of these kids don't like hardly have to go. And it makes it super easy for them to be like, you know what? Here's prepaid, boom, right to the opens. Have somebody following them. I'll give one guy credit who I'm actually really good friends with, is Logan Parks. He went out, built himself from the ground up, ended
hmm
up winning that $1 million, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm good, man." Like,
yeah,
has a
absolutely.
dude follow him every tournament, but it's. I remember it. I was boat captaining a couple kids on Lake James for a high school tournament, and I was pre-fishing the day before, kind of just out there like dicking around, filming a little bit of stuff, and I'm getting ready to put my boat on the trailer. Black Phoenix comes flying through the no wake zone. throws wake everywhere, ties up, goes, backs down like a brand new, like had to have been $110,000 GMC. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, holy cow. I was like, dude, I looked at the dude, I was like, dude, you got off plane right there at the dock, dude. I was like, you're gonna end up messing your shit up
Yeah,
doing that, man. Like, oh,
definitely.
I'm good. Dude ended up being like 16 years old, and his dad was coming down the next day to boat captain him. And I was like, dang, I was like, you didn't have school today? He's like, oh, I skipped. It's
Yeah.
like,
Oh
how
yeah.
long have you skipped? He's like, oh, I've skipped the last 3 days of school. I was like, the
To
pre-fish for a high
practice.
school derby,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, that's
It's like my
crazy.
mom would have said, like, hell no, you're not
Yeah,
skipping
no,
any school.
no.
She's like,
If I was skipping school, it meant I was sick, and then if I was sick, that meant I had to stay inside all day.
yeah, dude, because my mom had a rule. Like, I played sports and stuff too. She's like, if you don't go to school, you're not going to practice. You're not going outside
Yeah,
fishing. You're
yeah,
not playing video games. You're not
that
doing
was me.
nothing.
Yep.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Providence High School.
Oh, you went to Providence?
Yeah,
No
I did.
way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, dude, Matt's the star. How old are
Mm,
you?
I am 27.
27. I think
Yeah.
I'm 28. He was our age. I knew a bunch of dudes that went to Providence. I played lacrosse in high school.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Do you know Richie Bosch?
Yeah. He played
Yeah.
on one of my summer teams.
Yeah,
That dude's
Richie was
funny as hell.
my Richie was my next door neighbor my entire life, and like
No way.
Mike, who works for me full time, is his younger brother.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so Mike, right before we got on, Mike has been working in the shop all day making nuggets,
Oh,
and
heck yeah.
so I kicked him out, and he's working on a video inside now. But
Dude,
um,
that nugget is sweet, dude. The
yeah, it
next
is. Here,
drop,
I'll grab one real quick.
yeah, dude, grab one. Dude. Got the nugget coming in, baby. Dude, that thing is sick.
So this is the one that's been absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, that's the one that I keep seeing on the the
Yeah,
Instagram story. Dude,
exactly.
that's
And
wild.
here's a painted one.
That thing is sweet, dude. That I
Right.
bet that crushes them on Norman.
Yeah, what you were talking about, like coming up out of 30 foot of water on scope, dude, it's so crazy. Like you can see them on a brush pile and like cast over the brush pile and like the whole brush pile just starts coming up. You haven't
Yeah.
even twitched the bait yet. Haven't even twitched it yet. And you just twitch, and they all just resume to the top and you just hook up. Like it is one of the most fun baits I've ever fished, dude. Like and I'm saying like
Dude,
if
I
we
never
didn't make it, I would still say that.
Yeah. Dude, that so what inspiration did you get from that for that bait? Like I know you got a lot of guys in the big bait game like Tater and stuff like that. It like that looks very original. That like it doesn't
Yeah,
look like a
so
tater hog.
I can't take all the credit. So basically I got into glide bait fishing probably 3 years ago or so,
Okay.
and I started making glide bait flies as well. Like on YouTube I have a whole thing on like this fly called the chopper fly, and
Uh-huh.
it's a 6 inch chopping glide bait fly that chops back and forth just
That's
like a glide
sweet.
bait does. And we wanted to sell those, but like the production time on those to tie them and get them out, the price would be way too high for a fly fisherman to want to consistently buy.
Yeah.
Your musky fishermen would, your big striper guys would, but that is just a very small portion of the fly fishing world. Really, you got to hit like multiple main species, including trout, smallmouth,
Right.
in order to have a successful fly, right?
Right.
Um, and so that was just kind of like a dwindling thing. And so we wanted to make a glide bait because I was fishing with them so much. I was guiding with them. We were losing them. We were breaking them. And a lot of these baits are $150.
You're
So
right.
this is when I am guiding like crazy and then spending a ton of money on baits just trying to learn.
Right.
And my wife was not happy about this. I mean, I probably spent, a couple grand on glide baits.
Right.
And so I was looking to partner with somebody But like in that handmade custom world, it's not your normal like corporatized business
No,
deals. Like they
not at
don't
all.
have the money to pay you or anything like that. But a guy named Trevor Shotvet, he is the owner of Outside the Box Lure Company, reached out to me, and he had a bigger bait called the Ace, which we're about to start producing as well.
Okay.
But that is the bigger gizzard glide, and it's awesome. It's an expert level glide though, so it's not just like throw it in the water, hand it to anyone in the world, and then make it look great, right? It's
Right.
like you have to understand glide bait fishing and how to work this bait, and then it is a certified giant catcher.
Right.
Um, so originally, as far as selling a bait, I wanted it to be flawless. I want it to be the most user friendly glide ever. So we're really hard on our production. And so he showed me this thing, which at I met him in Canada for the first time ever. We talked on the phone. I was like, "You want to come to Canada?" 3 weeks later, we were in Canada, and he had these baits with him. So
Okay.
I'm like, "Yeah, it's kind of small. Like that's not really what I'm looking for. All this stuff." And so he starts catching smallmouth on it right in front of me, and I'm like, "What in the world? Like this thing is smashing these 4 pound smallies. Like, and we're throwing." Top water. We're throwing chatterbaits like in the grass, like all this stuff, and we're catching them okay, but he's whacking them. And so I'm like, let me see that thing. Like I want to see that thing. And I start working this thing. I just pitch it out in front of me like 10 feet, and I had never seen it worked other than how he was working it
Right.
to get these smallies. And I was like, let me see how I work it. And I started working it, and I was like, holy smokes, dude! Like this thing, it replaces a fluke completely. Like
Yeah.
outside of skipping on into heavy cover, like a fluke's obviously going to be better because it's weedless. But anything outside of that, like schooling fish, it's just the most consistent juking fluke that you've ever seen in your life that can
Right.
also burn super fast and everything else. And you can weight it heavy and sink it down on top of brush piles and busting fish and in current and for trout. So this bait right here has already caught 21 freshwater species across the United States of
That's
America,
unbelievable,
um,
dude.
including muskie and pike and largemouth, smallmouth, all your perch species,
Dude, I saw a dude
smallies.
catch a dang brown trout on one on your story the other day. I was like,
Yeah,
dude,
so like
that's
for instance,
unbelievable.
he's chasing. That's Tom Western fishing. For anybody watching, you guys can go check out his stuff. But he fishes this thing for trout, dude, and they come unglued for it's pretty incredible what he's caught. I mean, he's caught a 24-inch cutthroat on it. So
That's insane.
um,
Cutthroat on a glide bait.
rainbows, browns, brookies, cutthroat. All of them have been caught at bowfin, gar, everything. So we've started this thing, the nugget don't discriminate. You know what I'm saying? Like we always say that. So
That's
um,
awesome.
it's it's just a bait that you know can mimic pretty much any bait fish in that 4-inch size in the world. You know.
That's awesome. But here's another. What would you rather guide on? Your flycraft or your boat?
Well, I like the Flycraft is one of the coolest vessels I've ever had. And as a company, they're absolutely incredible as well. Like customer service is just insane. So I have like literally only good things to say about the Flycraft. It gets you into places that you could never go and anywhere else. So ideally, to answer your
Right.
question, ideally I'd like to be on the Flycraft because wherever we are, we're gonna have all those fish to ourselves. Like we're gonna be alone in the middle of
Right.
nowhere with a bunch of fish around us, and it's just us and the fish. Pretty much you can know that unless you're on the South Holston or Watauga. But pretty much anywhere else, you know that you're probably the first person to come across those fish for the day, so they're fresh, all of that stuff. However, I don't want it is
Right.
more effort to go out on the flycraft and row all day. So if fishing is better out on the lake, I'd much rather drop the trolling motor and just do, use my foot to control us
Yeah.
and get around and
Put
catch a
it on
bunch of fish.
5.
So ultimately, yeah, exactly. Ultimately, I want to have the opportunity, at like I said at the beginning, to have the most reps for my clients during the day. Because whether they capitalize
Right.
or not, reps is what I'm there for. We're going to get around fish. You're going to get your opportunities, and then seeing what you do in those opportunities and how those fish react to that is teaching you every single time that happens, right? You learn every single, okay, maybe I need to twitch it. Maybe I need to
Right.
stop it. Maybe I need to whatever, right? So fishy senses comes from reps with fish, right? Like you only like people say, "Oh, he's
Right.
fishy," or like that's a fishy guy. That's literally because he's had thousands of reps with fish, you know. So I want to be where the fish are
Right.
more than
And
anything.
I think that's
Ideally,
a.
I was just gonna say, ideally, if the
Can
fish
you
are
hear me
just
all right?
going crazy, yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello,
Hold on. I think we're
you
getting
got
a
me?
little feedback. Hold on. Let's let it catch up. Can you hear me? Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I can
got you.
hear you. Okay.
Shoot. All right. Cool. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
All right.
Is it all
Sorry. I
good?
thought we had a little bit. Keep going.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
just
it's all good
saying,
now.
on the flycraft, I would ideally like the fish to just be going crazy. Usually those river fish are a lot easier to catch when they're ready to eat and stuff as well. So, a lot more visual, a lot more up and close and personal. But that bass boat and me are like this too. So, um, I love me my bass
Right.
boat and my bass fishing as
Dude,
well.
and what you said about the reps and seeing how like fish react to your baits, I think a lot of people think live scope is such a bad thing and how they should outlaw it and stuff like that. I think it's just a tool. It
Me
helps you
too.
see how those fish react to your bait, and it's like, dude, like it's just a giant tool. Half of those guys out there on the elites say they're like, dude, half the time it's like I'll use it during pre-practice, and he's like, I'll get to where I need to go, figure out how they want to see my bait, figure out how I need to present it, and they're like, I'll just run my regular stuff.
Right.
And
Yeah,
I do
that's
like I
me.
think that was a huge thing that kicked off, but yeah, it's
Yeah, I
awesome.
think
I think
I think
I would have loved to have live scope,
go ahead.
but yeah, I would have loved to have live scope, but it's like it is expensive. It is very
Yeah, it
expensive,
is.
but
It's very
it is.
expensive.
Yeah, I think it pays for itself.
It's extremely expensive, but the like you said, the thing it can teach you is just so insane. And a lot of times I'm just using it to find the groups of fish, and then I'm just casting in that area and fan casting around that area, like especially in wind or current. Like you can't watch your bait. Like that's just not how it works. Like you're
Right,
staying in place. Like you got to use your trolling motor to navigate as well. It's not just free reign to look at any fish and watch your bait the whole time. Like, no, you need super calm conditions and all of that stuff to even watch your bait. And that's what, like, you'll see these Elite Series guys. They'll run out to the main channel first thing in the morning, and then as soon as the wind picks up, they'll be ticked off out there going, "I need to get out of here. I need to get out of here," because they can't make these fish react because they're in 20 foot of water. The fish are suspended in 10. And so they need
right,
to be able to see their bait to work their bait to get those fish to react. And if there's current and wind and all that stuff, they're just wasting their time. They need to go
right.
find some different stuff.
Dude, and I've realized I wanted to have it when I lived in Florida and I was down there by the Harris chain so much, dude. And I was sitting there in like a massive grass flat, and it's like you always saw the video of Hank Cherry out there. I think it was his first classic he won when he went back to back, where he's like, "Check this out." He's like, "This is a massive grass flat," and he's like, "I'm throwing a jerk bait through it." And you could see the fish coming after it. I was like, "Damn, dude, I want to have I want to have live scope here
Right,
so
right.
bad." But it's it it's one of those things. I think people are making it out to be such a bigger thing than it is, to where it's like, oh yeah, we have to outlaw it. It's like, no, dude. I was like, if if you want to outlaw it in local tournaments, it's like, how about this? If you want to outlaw it so bad, It's like, why do you want it outlawed? Probably because you're getting your ass whooped by these people, and even if live scope wasn't even a thing, you'd probably still be getting your ass whooped by some of these guys.
Well,
And
and
it's like,
here's why I'm covering water with live scope faster than someone without live scope, because I'm not driving over the brush piles to see if there's fish there. I'm pulling up, laying my live scope down, checking those brush piles from afar, not
yep,
driving over them, not letting them know that I'm there. And if there's no fish there, I pick my trolling motor back up
yeah,
and I
gone,
head out.
yeah,
And it's not about catching the fish. It's about me understanding that this area is not going to produce for me right now.
right.
You know what I'm
And I
saying?
think, dude, that's a huge like a lot of the guys like Matt Airy. I mean, hell, Brian Thrift, dude. That's all they're using it for. Brian Thrift doesn't even have an Ultrex yet.
Right.
That dude's had a Fortrex on his boat for the last 10 years.
Right.
And it's like those guys. Do you think Brian Thrift can run live scope? He's doing the same thing. Pull up on a brush pile, drop it, pick it back up. No fish on that brush pile. I'm gone.
Right.
And I think a lot of those guys that are using it and are like really good on Norman are doing the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to cover water in these
Right,
areas to get on the fish. I mean, because what downs the guys who are really dialed at reading downscan and side scan can tell from downscan and side scan what I'm about to say, but I am not one of those guys. So a bass being on top of the brush pile or being on the bottom of the brush pile means two different things.
right,
The bass being suspended off the bottom and in a group versus being a single on the bottom is two different things, right?
right,
So if I see that suspended school moving around, that's good news. If I
right,
see two down on the bottom of the brush pile, it's going to take me really needing some fish to pitch a jig in there and try and catch those fish rather than piecing out. You know what I'm
right,
saying? So it's not even about if there's fish there. It's where are they set up? Are they
right,
set up for me to cast this jerk bait over that brush pile and then come up on it and get it? Or am I going to need to get down in this brush pile and slow jig them and everything
right.
else?
Sit
Because
there
a
with a
lot of
drop
times,
shot.
yeah, exactly. And so I'm using live scope much more for that. And it helps me so much with my clients too, because like, think about someone guiding without scope and saying like they haven't caught any fish. We're sitting on a pile of fish right now. And, we've been here for 10 minutes, no bites. And they're what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Yeah,
come up, come look at this. Look at these. All right, now cast out there. There's your bait. You're right next. I'm gonna need you to pop it. No, that's not popping it. Pop it. Pop.
yeah,
Oh, see, now they're coming towards it. Pop it
yeah,
again. Pop it again. You get what I'm saying? And so they
yeah.
start to understand, like, holy smokes, like I've always probably been around fish. I'm just not adjusting at all or changing anything
Right.
about my retrieve, and they don't want this thing like that. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes, sir.
it
Oh,
also allows them to know they're not good enough in that moment.
yeah, exactly. So, what was the biggest obstacle you had to overcome while starting your business?
I think that they don't teach you any of this stuff in school. They don't teach you
I agree.
no one who's never done what I'm doing could ever help me with what I'm doing, right? So a lot of times it's tough when, like, for instance, my dad would give me advice. My dad's a full-time studio producer and musician, so my dad would give me advice from that
Okay.
perspective, and that doesn't translate, if that makes sense.
Right.
And a lot of it does. The
That makes
life
total
stuff
sense.
does. The life stuff does translate, right? Be a good person, do what you say. All of those things that were instilled in me by my parents my whole life, those helped me out a ton, obviously. But I think that being willing
Right.
to be wrong and make yourself look like an idiot and to ask for what you need and to show value to other people is the hard part to learn. You know how good of a fisherman you are, and then you have to go through the process that no one gives an absolute shit. No one cares how good you are at fishing, right? And so that was
Right.
the hardest obstacle for me to get over was, in a lot of cases, I feel like, I could fish with anyone. Like on certain lakes with the right practice, I feel like, I could give Elite Series guys a run for their money. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
so that doesn't matter though. That doesn't make people want to come on a guide trip with me because they don't know who I am.
Right.
So me telling them, "Oh, I'm so good at fishing. Oh, I can catch fish." Okay, no one cares. So can a lot of people, So
Yeah,
adding value,
exactly.
adding value in the sense of my business. So our timeliness, our scheduling, our lunches, our, you know, organization. People want to be told what to do. They don't want to be given 1,000 options, right? So
Right.
learning how to get their expectations out of them long before you ever take them on a trip, or for instance, bait making, understanding what the community actually wants versus what you like or what you want, that looking from their perspective is a big deal. So on a guide trip, I learned really quickly people want to be comfortable, right? People want to be around fish, and it's usually a certain species of fish. Like I want to go trout fishing. I want
Right.
to catch a striper. I want to catch a spotted bass. Okay. And then you having the immediate 10-step program of, okay, you want to catch a spotted bass? Well, here's the dates that I have. You're going to meet me at this time. You're going to bring this with you. You need to have this, this, and this. We'll eat lunch at this time. You don't have to worry about anything other than sunglasses and a hat. And I'll see you there. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Then they get there and you have a strategic pattern of how you guys are going to accomplish this day, right? So even if you have a bad day, they catch 5 fish only, all of those things showed your true professionalism, right? You taught strategically throughout the day, so they can't say that they didn't learn. They can't say that you didn't have 10 different plans to go to when plan A didn't work.
Right.
All of those things are what grow your business, right? And they don't grow your business overnight like you wish they would, but slowly but surely you're starting to get referrals from people that you were like, dang, I didn't feel like we had a very good trip, but now I'm talking to this dude and he said it was the best trip of his life and how professional I was and everything else. So you start to realize that those um, processes that you put into place that make you a business, make you professional, make this your jam, this is what you do, is put people on fish. That is what really excelled my business very quickly because I started getting client trips from big groups of businessmen. So taking 6 guys out, the guy booking the trip, he wants to entertain these dudes, right?
Right.
And what makes him comfortable coming out with me is knowing he doesn't know anything and he doesn't have to know anything because I'm going to lay it out for him exactly what's going to happen, exactly what we're going to do, exactly where we're going to meet, exactly the times we're going to be there. I'm going to have lunch. I'm going to have extra rain jackets because I know they're going to forget their rain jacket. Everything else, right? So it's
Right.
all of those extra steps that you're thinking far deeper than the person who's ever coming out fishing with you. You don't ever want that person coming out thinking, man, he should have thought about that,
Right.
right? And here's the thing, to go back to the daddy's money,
Yeah.
they don't ever go through that,
No,
right? So
never.
at the end of the day, when I'm speaking to a company face to face, like say you were Bass Pro Shops right now, the catalog in which the portfolio in which I would
Right.
unfold from the surface, like, hey, we run a bait company, we run this, this, and this, to if they wanted me to deep dive into any of those things, I could go on for 10 hours each. You know what I'm saying? On why we do what we do, how we do what we do, the reasoning for everything. And that adds a ton of value to what we have going on. They want to know that I
Right.
understand, not that I was just given everything. So that was a long answer, but I think the one word answer is hustle.
Dude, that was actually a perfect answer.
It looks like we're reconnecting.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we're reconnecting, it
Yeah.
says.
Sorry about that. I don't know what that was.
No, it's
It
all
said
good.
I'm
But
reconnected. All
I
right,
think we're
cool.
good now. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that was a perfect answer. Honestly, dude, like it actually
Hustle is the
came.
answer.
Yep, dude, and that actually led right into my next topic, dude. Was partnership etiquette. I know you probably get 1,000 DMs on Instagram. I do, like, I have like a little fly tying thing that I do. It's actually the logos up here. I get literally like maybe 10, 15 DMs a week that are like, "Hey, can you send me a bunch of flies and a sticker and I'll just like promote you guys?" It's like, dude, I don't have any like monetary. I can't do anything monetary. And it's like I'm paying for all my own materials, everything like that. I can't just really. I'll give
Yeah,
you
no.
like one or two flies and stuff like that, maybe a sticker and a koozie, but it's like fly material's not cheap.
Right.
But
Yeah, definitely.
it, it's like I think a lot of these younger kids these days. I heard it a lot back when I was in college, where it's like, the whole pro staff thing was starting to get
Mhm.
huge, where it's like a lot of people don't get the pro staff, the meaning of what the pro actually is.
Right.
You're not a professional. You're
Right.
it's promotional staff.
Right. Yeah, yeah,
But it's
yeah.
it's like you got all these kids that are be like, I want to be on pro staff. It's like, okay, it's like I'm a one guy operation right now.
Yeah.
I don't have the money to give you like $100 even.
Right. Yeah, definitely not.
But
Yeah,
it's
so
like
I
you
guess
have a
I guess
great group of companies behind you, dude. So give some of these younger guys and stuff like that a little bit of insight.
I would say the number one most lost thing, and just all business in general, especially from my age group, and like I feel it too. I'm over it now, but when I was first getting into it, is shake someone's hand and look them in their eyes,
Exactly.
pick up your phone and call their number, right? These emails and DMs, that's bullshit.
Hmm.
I don't trust nobody who's DM. I don't care if you have 100,000 followers. If you DM me and it interests me, I'm gonna say, let's call me tomorrow. Here's my number. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to ask you some questions like, so, what do you think that you have to offer that we don't already have? Right?
Right.
So when that's what I'm saying to people who are reaching out to me, because these are the things that I had answers for when I was trying to get work with these companies. Now, however, I have a guide company, and so these companies, that's my number one sales point going into this, is say I never get a view on any of the videos I promote, which we will, and we're going to promote it on YouTube. We're going to promote it on Instagram. But throw that away. That's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is the fact that 290 people every single year will have your product directly in their hand for one of the best days of fishing they've ever had.
Right.
Right? Whether it's Grundon's waders or Hardy fly rods or whatever it is, right? Which those are two companies that I work with, they get to know that every single year my business is going to run. And just by my business running, people are going to be in the field with a professional being taught how to use those products. And every single client that I have, unless they've already got the stuff, every beginner that I teach who's like, man, I love this. I want to get into this. Like, can you help me get a rod? Can you help me get some waders? What do I say?
Yeah.
Here, you can use my
Of
discount code
course.
right here, save you 15% and
Right.
get you a Hardy rod. Do you get what I'm saying? And so my
Right.
point is adding that value of like, how many people do you think are calling them saying, I'm going to put this in 290 people's hands that's never had this thing in their hand, and then I'm going to take them fishing and I'm going to guide them to fish on this so I will prove to them that it works. So, like, for instance,
Right.
I'll shoot some videos on this or I'll shoot some content. I don't give a shit. I've shot some of the best videos that I've ever thought I've ever shot that got 100 views. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care how good you think you're going to do.
Right.
I want cold hard facts and proof. And the thing is when I'm selling, I can offer you cold hard facts and truth and numbers and spreadsheets and everything else about my guiding, about we reach 1 million people a year on Instagram. Like, when you look at the fact that we have less than 2,000 followers, you wouldn't know all of these things. So that's where I'm adding value. Is I will print out the paper and send it to you. You know what I'm saying? And when you're looking at this, you cannot deny it.
Yeah,
These people want to go off of hypotheticals. Like, I could go shoot this video because I know this one place that has 10-pound bass in it. Well, I don't care because you don't catch 10-pound bass every single day. So, unless you catch 10-pound bass every single day and you're going to consistently be
exactly.
promoting this catching 10-pound bass, then that's not a selling point. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't. You're
Yeah, I
not
know
gonna.
exactly.
And
I know
bullshit.
exactly.
You know? So, my
Yeah,
thing with
dude, and it's like
brand
I
look.
look back. What'd you say?
I was just saying, my thing with.
Is it reconnecting again?
Yeah, it is.
All right. Damn, my bad. I don't know what the hell it's doing.
Can you
Dude,
hear
but
me?
can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
You got me?
Dude, my damn apartment complex must have some freaking Walmart connection, bro.
It's all
But
good.
dude, so I look back on when I was like high school, young, stupid, didn't have a boat yet, didn't have anything like that where I'm going and filling out a pro staff application for Sims and I'm like, dude, I don't even have a boat. I'm fishing in a fucking pond 2 minutes down
Right.
the road from my house. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
Right,
I'm
right.
like, I have no business filling this out. I look back
Right,
on it
yeah.
from when I was like 15, 16. I'm like, damn, I was fucking stupid.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, and
But
I'll say this,
how,
every pro staff deal that I've ever got on from just filling out an application, I got absolutely used and abused, man. Like, they would I spent way more money than I would have ever spent in
yeah,
my life on their products, and then went out and shot all this content, and they didn't even know my name whatsoever.
Ardent Reels was the worst one of them all, dude.
Yeah, oh yeah. Terrible.
Ardent was the
Six
first
gill.
one to like be the carpet, yeah, dude, 6 kill. They're at every single show, dude, and they were handing out pro staff applications like they were candy. And dude, like the people that I remember like handed them out, bro, it lasted like 2 years, and they were with like all these other companies. It's like, yeah,
Yeah,
dude, there's
absolutely.
1,200 people on this pro staff. It's like it's bigger than some college campuses, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
hilarious.
holy
Yeah.
crap, dude. What was the other one, dude? It was a rod company. Shoot, Shane Lineberger used to be sponsored by him. Um, shoot,
It's
they
not
had that
IP proficiency, is it?
Hayabusa rod. Um, no, it wasn't IP proficiency. They had one that it had it was all lime green. It wasn't Guggen. Shoot, what was that company called? It wasn't Six Gill. Oh, I'm gonna have to go through someone's Instagram to have to find it, dude. But they
I
were
don't
the
know. Yeah, I
same
can't think
way.
of it.
Oh, what was the company? They were at the Raleigh show every single year.
That's hilarious. I just
And
don't
they were
think that
giving
that.
out that towards the end of the show they sell you like 4 rods for $100. It was always like a last end of show deal where they're selling you like every single rod left there for like $80. Oh, what was
That's
that company?
hilarious. I'm gonna
Oh,
try and walk outside and see
I
if that
forget.
helps.
Because I remember. Sounds good, dude. Where do you live near on Norman, dude?
I live up near
What boat
Buffalo
ramp?
Shoals, Long Island.
Oh, I got you.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. There's some big deer around that boat ramp. Some big deer. But shoot, yeah, dude. I forget. Dude, but that partnership stuff, dude. I thought at some point, dude, like that was gonna that was gonna ruin the fishing industry too, is like the pro staff stuff. Because it was
Well,
like
it
you had
has.
these young kids that, yeah, oh yeah, 100%. It hasn't
It
done
has.
any
I mean,
favors for the industry.
you can't get any money anymore because all these people are going to promote it for free. Like you give them,
Yeah,
like you said, you give them a sticker and 2 flies, and you got a fan for life.
yeah, dude. So thank you so much. They act like you
Yeah,
donated a kidney.
I know exactly. It's like, dear Lord, which is why it is good to give out when
Dude, yeah, it's like I'll give them a.
when it's the right time. But yeah, these random people asking for random stuff. That's one way to guarantee that you get nothing.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Like I had this kid, wasn't even a fly fisherman. He he shark fishes from the beach, in like Florida. Hit me up, and he's like, "Hey man, can you send me some flies and some like koozies and stuff like that? I'll shout you guys out on Instagram." I was like, "Yeah, sure." I was like, "I can't do any flies." Never sent the shit. I was like, I was like, this ain't the dude to do that to, man. But I
Well,
will say
I
there.
literally just respond, no, sorry, buddy. That's what I do. I mean, I could go through my Instagram right now and show you 15 messages since Monday from people with less than 500 followers saying that they're going to get me content and promote me.
Oh, dude, you gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
atrocious.
dude, it is. I'll be honest though. There was this little kid from like Switzerland. He's like, "Hey, I'm going to the fly fishing national championship in my country," and he's like, he's like, "I will give you guys some like promotional stuff from the national championship and stuff like that." Was like very very respectful about it. I was like, you know what? I might send you a flyer too. I was like, that was
Right.
honestly the most respectful message I've ever read.
Well, yeah, you got to catch the attention somehow. Like the
Yeah.
whole just asking for something for free cuz you're going to promote, that's dumb. Like
Yeah.
you
Oh,
better spice it up. You better spice it up to the point where I've never gotten a message like this in my life.
yeah. Dude, this kid was probably the nicest guy. I was like, damn, dude, I'd feel bad not like at least. I was like, dude, I'll be honest with you. That was the most sincere, nice message I've ever bought. That shipping to Switzerland is probably going to be like $40. And it's like, and if it is, I'll be like, hey man, like this ain't gonna work. But I was like, if you're ever over in the United States, let me know. We'll figure something out.
Exactly.
I'm
That's
not paying 40
hilarious.
bucks to ship you 4 flies
No.
in a koozie. But
Just for a bunch of more kids on your national championship team to want free flies.
yeah, exactly. I'm gonna end up like $500 in debt with the Swiss freaking
Exactly.
the Swiss postal service. They sent me,
That is
excuse me, you're
hilarious.
$500 in debt with us because you're sending 14-year-olds flies over over to Switzerland and you haven't paid your bill. Send customs after me.
That's
So,
hilarious. I mean, that's
so
really how it is, though. We're laughing, but that's what people don't understand.
yeah, it's crazy, dude. And the ones where they, the ones where it's like the funny ones are like where somebody from another country that doesn't speak English, and it's like a little bit of Spanglish or something going on. And it's like
Yeah.
the only thing I can read is tarpon and snook,
Right,
or like
right.
tarpon and bonefish. I'm like, I have to type it into like a translator, and it's still gonna be a no. But
Right. Exactly.
I'm like,
That's
damn, I'm doing
hilarious.
all this work to try and see what Buddy's saying, and I'm probably still gonna say no.
Yeah,
Dude, but like,
definitely
how do
say
you
no.
like how do you like those Grundens waiters, dude? I've seen so many people that are like, dude, these are the best waiters I've ever put on my ass.
They're definitely the most comfortable waders I've ever had by far. And I've had them for 2 really rough years of use. And they don't leak at all at the moment. Nothing, knock on wood, actually. But I feel like every time I start talking about something like this, the next time I go fishing, they shit out. But no, like seriously, as far as comfort and durability goes, keep you warm. I mean, dude, they're sweet. You can hike in them forever. You can like just sit down on the side of the like on a rock on the side of the bank or bend down and get a fish because of the way that they built the crotch out. It's not like an inside seam, it's like a triple seam. So you
Oh,
have a
it's
lot of space
beautiful.
to like bend and stuff like that. And you know, it's not like I got a little belly on me, you know what I'm saying? So when I
Oh,
when I
I do
lean
too.
over, I don't like to be like because my waders, you know, are sucking in my fat. So those
Dude,
don't do that at all, and they have a lot of
no
room to
no
move and bend.
offense to Sims at all, dude, but like I swear to God, man, I got some Sims tributary waders, and I swear they build them things like they're built for kids that wear skinny jeans.
Yeah,
Cause it's like, dude,
they do. And
I bend down, and I swear it feels like my fucking nuts are about to just absolutely burst out of them things like a damn
yeah,
rocket
yep.
ship.
Yep, and you know that's how I've always felt too. With all the other waiters that I've ever had, you know, I've had everything from the nicest to the cheapest. You know,
Right.
and Brendan's is just the materials that they use are different. Like the different materials that they put together to make the waiter are just more new age, more that stretchy clothing. You know, like dress pants now are stretchy, like. So like the cuffs at where the foot booties are down at the bottom, like that's all just like super stretchy. Like
Oh wow.
you can just like you know you could put it over your head, no problem. So
Do they have a fly down there, but like a fly zipper down there? That's one thing I've always wanted my fly fishing waders to have. Is like a fly.
they do have that edition. Mine
Oh,
do
it's
not.
beautiful.
I don't have that edition. Obviously they sent me mine, so I wasn't going to complain at all. They're still $670 waiters that I have. It's funny though to me, and this is a dish at every company, but how a zipper costs $300. I've never really
Yeah.
understood. Same pair of waders with a zipper is 300. Like Orvis is the same way, Patagonia is the same way, Sims is the same way. Like
Yeah.
you have your G3 Raiders and then you have your G3 Zips, and your G3 Zips are $300 more.
Yeah. Dude, squall. Don't even get me started. Like, don't. No offense. Don't even get me started with Squalla, dude.
Yeah. Oh
Oh my
yeah.
god.
No, it's bad.
It's unreal, dude. I got my Sims waiters. I got them on a steal. I had Zen rewards, and I had I had a gift card from my birthday that was like 120, like $100, and I had like a $50 gift card from Amazon from Sims Rewards, and I was like $200 pair of waiters. I was like Sims Rewards gift card. I'm only paying $50 for Sims
Hey,
waiters.
that's a steal.
I was like,
That is a
damn.
steal.
Dude, but it's like I know here pretty soon, dude. Like I'm gonna need new waders because it's like I'm just hacking through shit whenever I go up there and fish. Like we went up to the Linville River one time, and I thought I was gonna fucking die, dude. You've probably been by
Oh
this
yeah.
area where it's got an island in the middle, and it's like a huge field on the left.
Oh yeah. I know
And
what you're talking about.
dude, oh my god, one of my buddies at the time got we got lost out there. And this field, I ended up having to walk. I was like, dude, there's no way where we're getting back to the truck in under like 45 minutes, dude. He's like, nah, man, we got it. Like, we're not that far. I was like, no, man, we're way the fuck up here, man. I was like, you're out of your mind if you think we're getting back there in under 45 minutes. And
That's
so I was
funny.
like, we got to walk across the road, like, and it's a straight up climb too. If when we're getting out, I was like, dude, this is gonna be a shit show getting out of here. It's all right, let's do it. I bring up trout routes, and I was like, dude, I was like, we're screwed, man. Like, we're gonna have to. I was like, do you have a machete with you? He was like, So why the fuck would I have a machete in the back of my waders, man? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, because we're gonna need one.
That's
So
hilarious.
we get out onto the other side of the road. And that field, dude, it's up to here at this point, man. Like, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be bad. We get out there, and I'm like knocking over like corn stalks and briars, and I'm like, I'm dying, dude. I'm like, these are Sims waders that are not gonna be in use in about a year if I keep doing it like this.
Right.
Sure enough, I'm just abusing the piss out of them still, dude.
Yeah.
I brought my little brother up to the West Fork of the Pigeon River and fell. And there's probably a hole in the ass of my Sims waders now because I landed and it was one of those rocks that like comes up to a point. I'm like, dude,
Right.
that hurts so bad, but I was like, it kind of made me feel a little bit of suspicion right there, dude. Like falling on a point like that, I'm like, made me feel a little gay there. I was like, I don't know how people do this for pleasure. So it's wild.
That is crazy talk. That is crazy talk. That's hilarious,
dude. But like, I need a pair of like duck hunting and fly fishing, dude. I need a pair of waders that, dude. Like my Cabela's duck hunting waders the same way, dude. Like I've had them for like 3 seasons and they're ripping.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's just kind of how it goes, unfortunately.
yeah.
I mean, they just,
Yeah.
waders don't last forever, you know?
Exactly. I had I had original Bass Pro waders, like the gray ones that they make.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Dude, those ones I had them and they ripped finally like last season. That's probably the longest I've ever had a pair of waders. I bought them in 2019 and I stepped in the Davidson River not knowing that they were ripped right in the toe, like where the booty. And I was like, dude, it was New Year's Day.
Oh.
Crazy story getting up there too. I'm going through Shelby and I'm like, I was like, it's like cops are probably just looking for drunk drivers. It's like 2 a.m. I wanted to get up there early, get something to eat. Like, there's probably cops looking for drunk drivers. Sure enough, I pull into Shelby. Blue lights come on behind me. Cop walks up to the window. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, going fishing, dude. It's like at 2 in the morning. I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, at 2 in the morning. He's like, you mind if I give you a sobriety test? I was like, yeah, dude. I was like 100% give me a sobriety test. He's like, all right. He's like, I'm probably just going to breathalyze you. And I was like, all right, sounds good. I blow into the breathalyzer, and he's like, 0.00. He's like, you're not kidding? I was like, I swear, dude, I'm going up to the Davidson River to go fly fishing. And he's like, why at 2 on New Year's Day? He's like, it's fucking freezing out. It's like, I want to go catch him on a mouse pattern in the dark. And he's like, all right. He's like, have a good day. He's like, call 911 if you see any sketchy stuff going on this highway. He's like, I'm out here patrolling for drunk drivers. It's like, yeah, that's exactly what I thought when you flipped on your blue lights behind me.
Exactly.
I get there, and I'm like, all right, get something to eat, get out onto the river at like 6:30, and step in. Waders fill up to my shins, freezing damn cold. I'm like,
ouch.
Oh man, I was like, they're ripped. I was like, I've had them since 2019. I should have known it's happening. End up getting out, go up a little more, catch a few fish, hook one more. My Reddington that I've had for like 5 years, 3-weight breaks. I'm like, oh my god, dude.
One of them days.
I was like, it's just one of those days. So I got home and I used the Zen Rewards, got a gift card. And, dude, it's like, my mom mostly is like, yeah, she's like, you gotta quit that. I was like, literally, I have like every single one of my fly tying materials. Like, dude, these hooks, Zen Rewards. Dude, like this flash boo, Zen rewards, like,
That's
and
hilarious.
and it's like, I understand, dude. I'm actually trying to quit right now, dude. I've been irritable as hell because I've been quit the whole week, and it's like I felt bad for one of the dudes that works with me. I work at a golf course, and it's like the two Spanish guys that work with me are, dude, they're on my ass like a fly on shit no matter what I do. One of them
Really?
was getting on me on Monday for, like, I was blowing out a bunker, and he's like, "You're blowing out the bunker wrong." I'm like, "Dude, I'm literally blowing leaves out of a bunker." Looked at him, I was like, "I'm literally blowing leaves out of a bunker. How can I fuck that up?"
That's
And he's like,
hilarious.
"Why are you mad?" I was like, "Try and quit cigarettes." I was like, "Try and quit cigarettes that you're smoking right there, and you'll understand." And he's like, "I'm
Yeah, it's
actually,"
not an easy thing.
yeah, he's like, "I'm actually going to try that." And he comes in the next day. He's like, "Yeah, I didn't even last yesterday afternoon." So he's like, "I understand."
Yeah,
But
it
dude,
ain't
yeah,
easy. I hear.
it's crazy. But this is my last question. Would you rather guide, if you could do one of them, conventional fishing or fly fishing? What would you rather guide?
Um, I just think that there's a time and a place for both.
I agree with
Um,
that 100%.
it has a lot to do with the skill of the angler that I'm working. So I couldn't really truthfully answer that question. However, if I were to say that every angler that I got is the same skill, I would rather fish on the fly because the reward is much greater.
Oh yeah,
So people get a lot of fulfillment out of a 5 fish a day on the fly because we caught 5 striper on the fly, right? And that is just the day of them all for them, right? If we
right.
catch 5 on spinning gear, it's almost like they're ready to cast back out and catch number 6.
Yeah,
Do you get what I'm saying?
yeah,
Instead of having that moment with the fish and they want to put the fly rod in their mouth and hold it up and all of this stuff, right? It's like, all right, let's get them back. All right, where are they at? Where are they at? Where are they at? With like conventional gear. So I would say fly gear if everybody's on the same level. However, I
right.
want everyone to catch fish, and I've had some pretty stubborn people out on the water that eventually listened to me and switched to spinning gear because they couldn't cast good enough, and then ended up having a great day, and so they trusted me after that. So it's when the fish are moving fast and you can't cast a fly rod very well, we gotta switch to conventional right now,
Right.
or we're not gonna catch them because I don't know how much longer they're gonna be here. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
So, and like, I'm saying, I'm getting you right up on them. I'm saying go, and you're fumbling the fly line and it's getting caught on your rod tip and everything else. And I'm like, all right, here, cast this spinning rod. And they're like offended. And I'm like, trust me, we only got a second here, Bow.
Yeah.
You want to catch this fish. Trust me, you want to catch this. And we can go back to the fly rod after this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
And
then
then they
switch it over.
do. And then they're happy that, they got that fish and now they feel good and they saw what it was like. And now we're back on the fly, and if we do that, then it's a double good.
Oh
So
yeah, everybody's happy.
the fly definitely has more reward with it. So probably that's my answer.
Yeah. What you take any cool people fly fishing, like Panthers players or anything like that, or fishing in
Um,
general?
I took Roy Williams' son out on Monday.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, and I didn't know he was Roy Williams' son until the end, um, where we were talking about going striper fishing, and he said, "Well, I'm going to the Duke UNC game that night," and I said, "Oh, really? You a big UNC fan?" He's like, "Giant UNC fan, dude." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool. Did you go there or something?" And he was like, "Yeah, I did." And I was like, "So where you sit?" Because we're still fishing, so this is a long conversation. I'm like, "So you got nice seats for the game?" He's like, "Yeah, pretty nice seats." And I was like, "Where at?" He's like, "We usually sit courtside, you know." And so I'm asking more and more questions. I'm like, courtside, like, dear Lord, like, this is sick. Duke, UNC, courtside. Wow.
What
Like,
else
this
could you
guy's
want?
richer than I thought. And so I'm asking more and more questions, like, and he can tell I'm starting to get confused as to, like, I'm like, you're really into UNC basketball. Like, you know people from UNC basketball. And then I go, well, are you coming back the next day? Because I'm looking at my calendar. And he goes, no, we usually stay the night and go to the after party and stuff. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like, for fraternity? Or like, what do you do? And he's like, kind of like a fraternity, except for with Michael Jordan and Julius Erving and Julius Peppers. And so I'm going, oh, so you go to like, are you a big donor? And he goes, I don't like people to know this, but Roy Williams is my dad.
That's
And
unreal.
I was like, all right. And he wasn't the one who booked the trip, or I would have I didn't know his last name was Williams or anything like that. Um, his business partner booked the trip, and it was like an outing for them to entertain. So I had no idea, but I was guiding him for a while. And then the conversations we had after that, I could talk about for a long time. He's had some really amazing experiences, and he says that he's going to get his dad to come out and fly fish with us and do a day waiting. So
Dude,
that
that
would
would
be
be
really cool as
sick.
well.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, it would.
Dude, yeah.
So that's the most recent. I mean, I haven't taken like a ton of notable people out. I mean, people in the Hendricks family. I have taken a lot of like really, really, really rich businessmen who, like, you wouldn't know their name, but they're definitely very powerful, and they know some very powerful people. Like the conversations they have on the phone next to me, I definitely shouldn't hear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Roy Williams' son on Monday. That's my
That's
answer.
pretty sweet, dude. That is pretty sweet. Tell a story.
So,
What's the worst fly trip you've ever had, or fishing trip you've ever had? Like something crazy goes on.
I had a husband and a wife come on a fly fishing trip where it was mainly for the husband, and so the wife, she was like 8 months pregnant. And so we're out on the boat, we're chasing the striper, and I'm talking about we get to the first pot of striper, and me and him are at the front of the boat, and we're dialed. And she starts kind of freaking out in the back and is like, doesn't want to say out loud and like wants to whisper in her husband's ear. And I'm like so confused, but her water head broke on my boat. So I cleaned this dude's wife's water break off of my boat as they were on their way to the hospital, like, 30 minutes into a trip. I mean, and I was gunning it back. We were probably 6 or 7 miles from the boat ramp, and I'm, booking at 55 back to the boat ramp, thinking she's about to plop one down on the boat.
I was gonna say.
So that was pretty sketch. That was pretty crazy. And outside of that, I would say I've had some other weird medical things happen, to where we had to end the trip immediately, and like they had to get to the hospital. And so those are always weird, but like, what can you do? They're just random. But like, the worst ones, the most vivid ones are just the dudes who swear they're so good at fishing, and they literally are the worst fishermen. Like,
yeah.
and they'll say like, I'll be like, for instance, striper will get to the school, cast in the school, and they're just ripping it on the surface. And I'm like, no, you got to let it sink. It's a sinking line. The bait's on the surface. They're pulled up underneath. I'm looking at them on active target right now. Like, you got to let that fly get down. There's a 10 billion bait fish out here. They're not going to run through all the bait fish to come get your fly.
Right.
And cast out, ripping it through. I'm like, dude, you got to slow down. And he's like, I think we need to change flies. Let that guy. And you're like, oh my gosh, buddy, I'm about to knock you off of this boat. Like, you need to listen to me. And like, a female first timer would be catching fish right now.
Yeah.
Al, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
we are in the mess, like the deal right now. Like, the reason we come here, this is it right here, and you're not catching fish. That is sad. That means some bad stuff about you, pal. You're not listening at all.
Oh yeah.
Like, and it's usually the ones who are also holding me to a standard of like, they're expecting this, and this.
Yeah.
Like, I went to Belize and I caught a tarpon. Like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, it's like, I don't give a fuck what you caught in Belize, dude.
I do not care, bro.
We're not in Belize, dude.
No, this is Lake Watery, South Carolina,
Yeah.
and you suck suck at fishing here.
Yeah, it's like, dude, does it look like this is Belize? It's like, I was like, we're in Lancaster County, South Carolina right now, brother.
Yeah,
This
all I got
doesn't
to
look.
say is you better be glad as hell we're not chasing tarpon right now, because they would shit on you, son.
You think they're tarpon in these waters, buddy? It's fucking blood red.
Exactly.
But dude,
That's hilarious.
I think, dude, the weirdest one I've ever had when I worked at Mountaintop. I'd talk fishing with these guys. Got to take Zach Johnson, professional golfer, won the Masters and stuff. I got to take his kids fishing. That was pretty sweet. But
that's cool.
The worst one I ever had. Some guy was like, "Hey, we want to go fishing, catch some smallmouth or something like that." He's like, "It's going to be me, my son, and my dad." So it's the kid's granddad. Like, we want to go out catch some fish. I was like, all right, sounds good, man. He's like, how much would it be? I told him. And we get out there. The kid catches a smallmouth, and the grandfather catches a smallie. This is on Glenville. And grandfather catches one on a shaky head. And then one catches one on a mag draft. And the kid, the entire time, is just like checked out after he caught his first fish. He's like, fuck it, I'm done.
Right.
And he was young. And I'm sitting up there watching downscan, trying to see if there's like a school under us. And I just hear, kid has a bag of pretzels, like a big bag of pretzels, and he's crunching them in the bottom of my boat. And I'm like, oh shoot. The kid's dad turns around and he's like, Jack, stop it! Stop crunching pretzels in the bottom of the boat! And he keeps fishing. He catches another one. We end up fishing until like lunchtime. We get out there at like 6:30. About 1 o'clock again. He's got like a pair of scissors stabbing through a thing of damn pretzels, dude. I ended up I was like, fuck, man. I was like, I'm gonna have to go to the one boat ramp on Glenville that is like literally like this. You gotta back down. I was like, I'm gonna have to pull my plug and just let the bilge run for like 20 minutes. Sure enough, dude, it literally looks like my boat was taking a shit. There was so much pretzel coming out of the plug, dude. I was like, oh my god. I was like, no.
Oh, soggy pretzels.
Dude, it was soggy pretzels. I was like, dude, this is horrible.
Nah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that one was bad. Brought my uncle fly fishing for the first time. He fell down, busted his arm, broke it, and tried to hide it from my mom. He's like, oh no, my arm feels fine. He's sitting there like this the entire time. I'm like, dude, I will drive you to the hospital right now. Sure enough, he ended up getting all loaded up on Coors Light that night, and he was like, I don't even feel my arm anymore. Got back the next day, he's like, my arm is like fractured.
Yeah, definitely. That's crazy.
But dude, I think that's really all I got, man. That was a great episode.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I really appreciate you having me on. And yeah, let's do it again.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. Thank you for coming on, man. Really appreciate it. Yeah. Is that a York hat right there?
Yeah, it is.
Dude, that's pretty sweet. I'm gonna have to come and get one.
We're coming out with some of these. I'll send you one when we get them in.
Perfect, dude. Yeah, dude. But yeah, we'll have to do this again for sure. What were you getting ready to say before I said that?
I don't even remember. I don't know. But everybody can check me out on York Casting TV on YouTube. We're Yorkcasting_co on Instagram. And buy some nuggets. Dude, that's all I got to say.
I'm buying one next drop, dude, 100%. I think the only rod I still have is like a glide bait rod.
Hey, and it takes like more of like a jig rod than a glide bait rod anyways.
I think the thieves stole both of my jig rods, and those were like the only two rods I wish that they left.
Yeah, exactly. Those are your do everything rods.
Yeah, exactly. But I really appreciate it again, man. Go check this man out on YouTube. I'll link all his stuff in the description. this goes up on YouTube too. I'll send you the link. I'll post it all
Yeah,
on
I'll
Instagram.
definitely put it on my story and stuff.
Perfect, brother. But thank you again for coming on. I'll shoot you a text later about what I DM'd you about the other day.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, brother.
Peace.
Peace. All right, that was Caleb York, everybody. Big thank you to him for coming on. What a conversation. What a cool dude. Had a little bit of technical difficulty on there, but you know what? I feel like we worked through it pretty well. So, we haven't had an episode for 2 weeks. Last week we were at deer camp. We were gonna release a episode there where everybody was talking, but we all ended up getting all entirely too drunk, and the episode ended up coming out pretty shitty. But we might still release a little bit of that. But here, the weekend before last, we went to Smith Mountain Lake for a little trip. Me, my buddy Matt, and my buddy Dylan. We took Dylan's C Pro up there, and it was pretty cool. We went up there. Matt had some prior experience up there. I had a little bit of prior experience up there. I'd gone up there for a couple tournaments and stuff like that in college and high school. But I wanted to go up there and catch a striper on a fly, and didn't really have the boat space to whip a fly rod around a little bit. So we ended up going with mostly conventional gear, and I caught a beautiful smallmouth in like 60 foot of water. It's wild. Caught a handful of bass. Went out at night, dude. I mean, night fishing out there was crazy. Probably some of the coolest stuff I've ever seen. All in all, fun trip. Killed a bunch of beer. The first night we were there, we we killed about 20 Coors Banquets, and in the process of night fishing and stuff like that. But other than that, a lot of bass. We graphed for striper. I'm talking like most of the day Saturday. And would it have been fun to catch striper? Hell yeah. It would have been a blast to catch some striper. And just stuff didn't really align. Bluebird skies. And every big school of bait that we found, we just couldn't catch striper under them because it was wild. There's so much natural food right in front of them that it was like, we're not even going to bite your swim bait that almost looks like these shad that they're feeding on. They're like, why eat that when we have the real thing right in front of us? So it's like they're eating that by the handful, fucking buffet style, and they're not even touching artificial bait. Should we have maybe got some live bait? Yeah, we threw the cast net out a little bit for some live bait, but even then, I mean, the first couple days we were there, we couldn't even find big schools of bait like flickering around on top of the water. So it was hard to be like, oh shoot, there's a big school bait. We'd use the Simrad, mark them under it, but there were no like big freaking wolf packs of shad out there that we could be like, all right, cool, we're gonna toss the cast net out, rip it up, and we didn't find that until like the last day, where a lot of these fish were a lot of this bait was being pushed by some of the bigger striper and largemouth, and they're flickering on top of the water. And I'm talking, we saw a bait ball that was probably a full size of a big creek. I'm talking spread across the entire creek, and it was just meandering around all these like little cuts in this big creek. And it's one of those things, would have been fun to catch a striper. Yeah, we still had a great time though. I mean, did I want to catch a striper on a fly? Yeah, but smallmouth, catching a smallmouth out of 50 or 45, 60 foot of water, however big it was, on a shaky head on spinning gear was pretty sick. I love that stuff. Would it have been cooler if I had like an ultralight rod with a drop shot on it and I could have just sit there, catch them like that? Yeah, that would have been sweet. But saw a lot of cool stuff. I was throwing a swim bait, jerk bait around a little bit, and had five big smallies following it around, like following it to the boat. I should have killed it and let one of them eat it, but I didn't, because sometimes you see some shit like that and you black out, and makes it like hard to have those little processes and be like, oh, I should probably kill this bait and let it sink a little bit and have one of these smallmouth freaking choke it. Wasn't thinking that, because you see 3+ pound smallmouth following a swim bait, you kind of lose all brain thought. So that happened. And then, our last big segment is picks and predictions. Rise Flies picks and predictions. We got a great weekend of college football coming up this weekend. Getting into my phone because the only game I really know is Tennessee, Georgia. That game is a make or break for Georgia's hopes at the 12-team playoff. Hate to say it, but that is definitely a make or break game for the Georgia Bulldogs. Repping my red and black today. Sadly, I will actually be at a wedding during the game. One of my girlfriend's good friends. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. That's just part of being a boyfriend, I guess, is you got to miss the good college football games on a Saturday to go to one of her friend's weddings. But, still a sin to have a wedding in the below the Mason-Dixon line on a fall Saturday, because, there are three great things going on right now. First thing, always college football. Second thing, we're peak rut for deer season. Third thing, the fly fishing in western North Carolina is absolutely popping off, and I've been busy all of November. To be honest with you, I almost want to kill a big buck more than I want to go fly fishing right now, but that's tough to say. And it's tough to do during the rut. My trail camera has barely sent me any trail camera pictures, so it's kind of tough. Am I going to kill a big buck this rut? Probably not this rut, but the next December rut where I hunt, that December rut is usually a little bit better. So let's get into some picks and predictions for this weekend's college football slate. Let's see what we got. Let's see. Tomorrow, 12 p.m., we got Colorado, Utah. Damn, that's a tough one to predict. Oof. Give me Colorado in that game, honestly. They're hot right now. I like Dion. Travis Hunter, absolute beast. But, yeah, give me Colorado in that game. Another one, we got Texas, Arkansas. Texas, they are third in the nation right now. That one, Arkansas, unranked. They're 5-4. Texas 8-1. Give me Texas, man. Texas is, even though Georgia beat them, I mean, Texas is a hard-nosed, good football team, hard-to-beat team this year. Crazy. Absolutely insane. But yeah, give me Texas in that game. Be stupid not to take them money line. Ohio State, Northwestern, Ohio State. Pretty sure Ohio State's still 5-1, 8-1 actually. Yeah, because Texas is 8-1 as well. Alabama, Mercer. Alabama. They're gonna run through Mercer's face. Then you got Tulane, Navy. Navy at 7-2. Tulane at 8-2. I think that's actually going to be a hard-fought game. You know, you got Tulane, 25 in the nation right now. They're probably going to make a pretty good bowl game. No. Also, the alma mater of my little brother could be biased here, but give me fucking Tulane, man. Roll wave. LSU, Florida. Been a little bit of an off year for Florida. And LSU honestly hasn't looked stellar, but they have looked a lot better than Florida has. That game tomorrow, 3:30. That's at Ben Hill Griffin, though. That could be a factor. You got Florida at 4-5. LSU 6-3. Still give me LSU. I mean, I've seen Florida get freaking whooped at home. This is a sleeper right here. SEC game. Missouri, South Carolina. Honestly, here, give me South Carolina. I mean, South Carolina is red hot right now. And it's at home, dude. Yeah, give me South Carolina all day, even though they're 6-3. Missouri, I love Coach Drinkwitz, but you know, South Carolina, about an hour 30, hour 45 from me. Give me the Gamecocks, man. Give me them Cocks. No Diddy. That sounded sus. No Diddy though. Go Cox. No Diddy. But yeah, go Gamecocks. 6-3 over 7-2. I have the Gamecocks playing red hot right now. And then the big one tomorrow night, 7:30. College game day in the Classic City tomorrow. You got number 6, University of Tennessee Volunteers versus number 11, Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia Bulldogs coming in this game. They're getting disrespected, dog. How you gonna put Georgia at number 11? They beat Texas. They're sitting at number 3. Given Texas only has 1 loss. Georgia has 2, but you look at a strength of schedule thing, Georgia debatably has probably one of the hardest schedules in the SEC this season. I know that all last year, the bullshit that went on between Florida State trying to get all that, and they were preaching strength of schedule, and everybody was like, fuck a strength of schedule. I'm not going to go back on that, but Georgia's feeling disrespected. They're here at they're playing at Sanford Stadium tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. on ABC. It's going to be good. There is at CBS. I think it's CBS now. Yeah, it's CBS. No, it's not. It is not CBS because it would have been the SEC on CBS, and that was the goated SEC network, man. You know, they had the cool little jingle. I think it's SEC on ABC now. which is fucking horse shit. It is not the same. But 7:30, you got light up Sanford. Think beginning of the fourth quarter. That's gonna be electric. Big question. Did the Dogs come out in the blackout jerseys? Blackout jerseys are goated. Didn't wear them last year. They didn't wear them last year for their night game. But they did. The equipment staff posted something yesterday, and they were flicking through red jerseys, and off there to the right a little bit, you had a little red sleeve and the black jersey poking out over there on the corner of the video. So is that a sign? Is that a sign that we get the UGA black jerseys? Is that a sign? I hope so. They're telling the whole stadium to wear black. Dude, Sanford Stadium's going to be rocking tomorrow night. So people are asking me, who are you taking in that game? Like I said, I'm going to be at a wedding. I'm going to be watching right here on the old cellular device. Girlfriend might hate me tomorrow night. I will be sitting at a table in the corner of this wedding. Phone propped up. I'm gonna get me like 3 beers before the game kicks off and just sit them next to me so I don't have to go back up to the bar. But who am I taking? Not Waylon. Who am I taking? Let's see. I'm looking at lines. Just kidding. No, I'm not. Just manifest it. Georgia Bulldogs making the 12. Hell, let's manifest them winning the fucking national championship again. Everybody's like, oh, it's not Georgia's year. Fuck that. It's Georgia's year. Give me the fucking Dogs. Let's go. Dogs by 90, baby. Big game. That's the end of the Trout Wrangler podcast. Let's go. That's how we're going to end it. Go Dogs. Let's manifest them running through Tennessee's fucking face tomorrow night. Till next week. Let's go. I could be in shambles. I could be in a great mood. Bump Georgia back up to number 3 if they win tomorrow night. Go Dogs. Everybody watch that game. Again, shout out to Caleb for coming on. What a great episode. Ran a little long, but you know what? It's still awesome. We had a great conversation. And once again, thanks for him for coming on. I'm gonna link all of his information in the description on YouTube. Go down there if you want to book with him. Yeah, dude is a great fisherman, and I'll tell you what. I'll put a link for the. He hasn't dropped any new nuggets. I think he might still have a couple painted ones, but drop a link for his website. Go on there, dude. His Instagram will be down there too. He'll let you know whenever he drops some more nuggets, and that is a bad mamma jamma. That thing is pretty sweet. So when they drop, go get them. They sell out quick. But until next time. Go Dogs.